In issue 176 of Wood Magazine, we feature plans for a Japanese-style box. One of the design elements is the curved lid. As you see, it's got a compound cut and it curves in both directions. The curved lid may look complicated, but with two simple jigs, I'll show you the steps to go through to accomplish this. We made this simple jig out of plywood. It's got a 13-degree bevel. We've centered the jig on the drill press, and from this hole that we've got, it's measured 4 5/8 to the center of the chuck. We've attached a pattern to our blank, and we pre-drilled the holes, as you see right here. To attach this there, we have to flip this over, put it in the top hole, and mount it on the jig. Once we have it mounted on the jig, what we want to do is make sure that the blank will move back and forth. And it needs to be snug, but just enough so you can turn it. To contour the bottom of the box lid, we have to set the depth stops just so it barely touches the edge. Now what we're going to do is make the curved corners. To do this, start at the center. Do a gentle tapping motion, working your piece back and forth to get it sanded. Okay, now make one final sweep to get it nice and smooth. Now we need to remount the workpiece in the other hole and switch it end for end. Now with the bottom finished, we'll go ahead and do the top. To do this, we go to the bandsaw. I've just mounted the lid to a very simple jig. It's got a 9-degree bevel here, a little fence here to keep it tight, so when we bandsaw it, it will hold it tight against the fence. On the pattern, you'll notice there's two lines, a solid line and a dashed line. We'll be cutting to the dashed line. In doing so, keep the jig flat against the table. It's hard to stay on the dashed line, but as long as you don't go on the solid line, you'll be okay, because that's where we're going to be sanding up to the solid line. With the lid still attached to the jig, we're going to be sanding to the solid line. Now we're going to take that off the workpiece, turn it 90 degrees, and then we're going to take it to the bandsaw and then back to the sander. Now with the sanding complete, we'll take the lid off the jig and we'll do the rest by hand sanding. What we're trying to do is keep the same thickness, a 1/16 of an inch, all the way around the lid.